started in a couple of minutes. Gonna set up the frame a little bit here, make sure that I look okay and that you can hear me and everything. I'm all cozy today. I have my blankie on. I have the door open a little bit because sometimes it gets hot, just me, during the lives, like thinking about what I'm gonna say and make sure that I'm orchestrating this whole thing okay. But I have the kitties out on the balcony and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can just see them. It's like they've never been out there before and they're sniffing everything out. So it's kind of fun. Just a cozy little live today. It is Christmas week as I plan this as I'm coming out here. And I am working remote the next 2 weeks. And originally I was thinking that, okay, I'm gonna get to work on my projects and work on my things. And I'm gonna take my watch off just because I don't want anyone to like text me and make me distracted. But I was trying to think of things that I could be working on because I do travel in to work. You're on the live, kiddo.
I'm sorry.
It's one of my daughters. But I was making a list of things that I wanted to get done this week, and it was not as long as I had originally thought it would be. I like to be busy. I like to have things to do. I almost don't relax. I almost don't let myself relax very much. So I was a little bit worried that my list wasn't very long. And I thought, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Let me see where my list is. It's plenty long, like it has 10 things on it. So it was plenty long, and I was looking forward to coming out here on YouTube a lot. Try not to use my hands a ton, you guys. I'll put them down here. But I had kind of this feeling overcome me that shocked me and that I've tried to revisit a few times, like energetically speaking, to feel those emotions again. It was a little bit hard for me to pinpoint what those emotions actually were, and I wrote them down at the time, and we're gonna talk about that. I'll tell you a little bit about that story. It's not much of a story, but it was something that really struck me, and I thought I want to share it. So coming out here talking about our goals and our mindset with the goals, because a lot of times, hi Patrick, thanks for being here live. A lot of times we're going for our goals, and at the beginning we pick something that we're gonna do, and oh my gosh, I have this thing that I'm gonna work on for an hour on a night, and we're excited, right? So we're like way up here and we're going for it. And hello everybody, Norman, that was my dad's name, so that name's very near and dear to me. But we pick our goal, we're super excited with it, we start to work on it. Maybe it's going the way that we want, maybe it isn't, but we're going for it, we're super excited. And then sometimes that excitement turns into a little bit of hustle mentality, sometimes obsession. Who else does that? I know I definitely do. I become obsessed with my goals, no matter what they are, whether it's exercise or parenting or work or doing my extras like writing or now like designing a planner or YouTube. You know, I just become obsessed with the goals. And sometimes I think over time, you know, our excitement and everything that we do, you know, we start up here and then it goes down, and maybe we take a break and then we jump back on and we're going for it, and we have that hill climb up again, our excitement, but maybe it doesn't reach that high of a peak as it did initially when we first started. And sometimes we have to kind of dig deep in order to continue. Who else does this? I know I do, that sometimes we're like, okay, it's not the initial phase anymore of that excitement that pushes us forward. We're in the middle and there's challenges. I mean, I'm in the middle of doing my planner. This isn't my planner, but mine's gonna look like this. And I have had so many challenges, and I think what pushes me through is knowing that at the end, like having the outcome that I want it to be. But when we're in the middle of our goal and we're not having that outcome right now, I kind of want to talk about that. I want my computer to stay on. And I do have some notes because I want to make sure that I hit some of these points today. But our mindset and staying healthy kind of when we're pushing and when we're going for something, because I feel like I come out here and I encourage you to go for your goals, kind of like I do. I'm a busy working mom and I just keep going, and I want you to do the same, but in a healthy way. And I feel like over the last year, I've been super excited about making my planner. And I feel like at times it's been a little bit unhealthy, just a little bit, maybe a little bit obsessive, but I know this about myself, that my mind clings on to something, and that when I'm looking for an outcome, that sometimes it takes over. And if that outcome's not happening, the joy part kind of goes down, the fun part of it goes down. So I want to talk a little bit. First of all, I like to acknowledge that this sometimes happens, that we all have these different ways that we go about going for our dreams, right? Our goals and our action steps are all different, and our mindset and what we bring to it are all different. Some of us say, oh, I'd like to do that thing. I'd like to run that, marathon or half marathon, or I'd like to write that book or set up a garden or something. But my cat is looking at me through the window, and it's so funny the way she's like, what are you doing? But sometimes we have that idea and we don't even get started. Like, we stay on the couch and we keep the computer across the room and we don't even get started. And some of us kind of dabble in it and we're happy doing like an hour a week, and that's totally fine. Maybe not getting started, right? I really want you to get started on your goals, but some of us like write pages and pages of action steps, and we're like, this is what we're gonna do. Turn the page, and it's the month, and we're gonna write our whole list for the month, and we really go for it. And I feel like that's where I am kind of, where I really go for it. And this last week, I knew that I had these 2 weeks coming up that I'd be home a little bit more, and a little bit scared that I wouldn't have enough to do because my printer is, I'm waiting for somebody else right now, or my planner, so I can't really work on it as much as I wanted to. And I was like, you know what? It's okay to take a break. And that thought struck me as a little scary. I'm just being honest out here. And I think that my sister texted me this morning. She said, hey, Steph, make sure that you take a break this time of year. And it's okay. It's okay to take a break. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, and how, I think we go through these different stages of pushing really hard, especially like when our excitement is high. We could probably get the most done during that time, right? Before it kind of dips down, or before life happens and we get too busy. But also when we get to that point where I don't feel burnt out at all, I still want to keep going, but I am a little bit in a lull with this project. But being okay with being a little more still, taking a little bit of a rest, and then starting strong again when we come back. And so here's the story. I'm Stephanie, by the way, if anybody is wondering. And I like to come out here and talk about going for our goals and our dreams, and trying to encourage you to go for them, and kind of leading by example, because I think that, we get busy with work, and if you have kids, you're busy with kids and with their school. And I feel like sometimes we can get in a rut. We can get in that, oh, well, it's another day, so we're just gonna, lather up and rinse and repeat the next day. And it could get to not dull. I don't want to say dull, because I love having kids. I love having my kids, and I love helping them with their homework and everything. But I feel like also we need something that is just ours, that we work on, that's fulfilling, that we feel proud of ourselves for, for accomplishing that sense of like when we actually finish something, how, what's the word? It starts with an A. Accomplished, that accomplishment that we have when we finish a goal. And anyway, so I was on my daughter's field trip with her on Friday, and I was kind of we were going to the movies. Okay, we walked down to the movies. It wasn't very far, and I was going to have to sit in the movie theater for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And you guys, I have not taken a break for 2 hours, and I don't know how long. So I know that's kind of bad. I have been watching some movies with my family, so and I play with my family. I just am not counting that, but, and I thought, well, maybe I could make some notes or something, just silly. I'm like, no, why can't I just sit there and watch the movie? That's going to be a lot of fun. Had to get through that kind of mindset. And on our way back, the movie was great. We went to Zootopia 2, and it was really good. I was surprised because usually second movies aren't very good. So we're on our way back, and I had this sense of ease wash over me in a way that was like a knowing that everything is going to be okay. And this sense that I wrote down, it was like this trust and this belief that everything was going to work out, and specifically for my goals, because, okay, we'll get into that in a second. But I felt like, okay, I'm doing enough on my side of it, and to let the rest go. Like I couldn't push anymore. And that was the sense that I got, that this kind of thing, like you've held your breath for so long and you just kind of let it out. And it was such a really cool feeling. And I've tried to kind of tap into that again and be like, okay, let me get my water. How can I be in that state more often? That, and I wanted to share this with you. Sorry, I almost missed my straw. That if you're the type of person who you're going for something, thanks for the hearts. I love being live. It's so cool to interact with you guys. So ask anything in the chats or make any comments or anything. That sometimes we push, okay? I know that there's a lot of you out there who are like me, that you're pushing for your goals. Maybe you're an exercise fanatic, or maybe you like to build stuff, or, do stuff for your family, and you really go for it. And you aren't seeing an outcome yet, like me, okay? I'm building my planner. I don't have it for sale yet. It will be for sale. I have a digital version that's going to be for sale probably February, and then the rest probably in May. And so I'm working on this, and I don't have an outcome yet. I don't know if people are gonna like it. I don't know if it's gonna help them like it's helped me, but I keep going, I keep pushing. And sometimes we can only do so much, and then we kind of have to let the rest go. And the state of mind that I wanted to talk about was working on our goals and feeling good about the work that we're doing. And thank you, Vintage Cookbook Nerd. I'm really happy to see you here. And I love your channel. It's so much fun to watch you cook. So satisfying to watch other people cook, isn't it? I don't know why, but if you're watching somebody do it, like, you better have a snack, because it just makes it so much better. But I feel like when we're going for our goals and we're pushing so hard, we can kind of get lost in the fun of it, and in feeling like we're doing enough. So let me know if you have had this also. I want to check my notes. My computer got really small on me, and I'm like, I can't see you if you're that small. If you're in that state of mind, this is another thing that I wanted to say. And I like to come out here and tell you about like my challenges too, that I'm going through, because I feel like you might be going through them as well. But if you're feeling like you're failing or that you're not doing enough, I think that that's kind of our human nature to do that. Especially if we are driven people, then we're gonna kind of be hard on ourselves as we're going through the process, even as we're seeing progress. So let's say that you're a YouTuber and you're seeing progress. You're getting, 20 or 30 or 50 new subscribers a week. And maybe a week you don't get any, because I've had weeks like that. And you're like, what am I doing wrong? I better try harder. I better do more. And I want to kind of say, no, that's not always the answer. That sometimes we're on this side. I kind of see it like there's a split and we're on this side, and everything else, whatever you believe, if it's your higher self, if it's your higher power, the universe or God, whatever else beyond that, that kind of helps us the rest of the way, that we can only go so far. We can push so hard and we can go so far, and then we kind of have to let the rest be up there and out there. And I know that's woo-woo. Okay. It can be woo-woo, because this feeling that I had the other day, this ease and flow, was definitely kind of outside of me. And I was welcoming it because it was an ease, and it was like it was kind of like a reassurance that everything was going to be okay. So I'm here to kind of share that with you, that if you're in this season of pushing really hard and maybe even hustling, because I've been there, maybe hustling isn't quite the right word, but like working at night after everybody's asleep and after I've worked and everything, not making any money on it though. So I don't know if it technically works as a hustle kind of definition, but if you're feeling that way, I feel like we don't need to try harder. We don't need to push harder. We don't need to stress more or do more, especially if you are doing a lot. We don't need more pressure. We need more grace and that relaxing. So it's a balance, right? This whole both working for it and going for it, and the state of mind. The state of mind is a balance too. I hope I'm making sense, that we can, right now especially, it's a great time to pause before the beginning of the year. Or if you're like me and you have a little bit of time in the next couple of weeks to work on your thing and maybe kind of have a reset and do it that way. So that's what I wanted to talk about out here. Let me look at my notes really quickly. I have some on my computer, and I feel like I'm gonna cough, so I might have to turn it off because I got a little bit warm. Let me know the goals that you're working on right now. I really want to encourage you to go for them, but I also need some more examples, you guys. I want to know what you're working on, because I kind of give the examples of where I've been with the writing and planning my whole planner release next year, working on YouTube and my whole parenting and exercise and all of that. So the next couple of weeks, I'm going to go live several times. I want to come out here. I have lots of topics to go over, specifically with the new year and a reset, and why, how we do that. How are we going to set up? Because I talked earlier about starting something, starting the goal, starting a project that we're working on, and having that excitement in the beginning, and it goes up, like we're way high, we're really excited about it, but not to let it kind of overtake us. Because they say, what do they say? 95% of goals fail. And I'm not saying that to discourage you, that's just kind of what they say. A lot of my goals don't fail, so I'm like, well, maybe, because there are a lot of us who go for our goals and actually make it to the end. So don't let that discourage you, because Also, a lot of the times, we might start with a goal and it kind of morphs into something else. So does that count also? I don't know. But I'm going to talk about that, the New Year reset, maybe a little bit of vision boarding. This looks so funny right now that my hands are over there and they're on my computer. But I wanted to talk about this today because this whole pushing really hard and letting ourselves realize that it's enough and letting ourselves kind of be okay with where we are, especially since we're ending the year. And sometimes we can get to this time of the year and we say, well, I set up all these goals for the year and I didn't even get through January and it didn't happen. And that's okay. It's okay, because I feel like we don't need to just do our goals in January and then give up, or just start a goal on Monday, or just on the new month, or now it's our birthday. And I don't see why it has to be like that, such a time thing. I feel like we can start our goals whenever we feel like it, whenever we're kind of feeling called to do so. Yeah, you have to be busy all the time, I know. And it's a good thing. It's a blessing and a curse at the same time. But I want to kind of set us up for the new year. I have a lot that's coming out in the new year, especially like when my planner comes out, because I want to talk specifically about what's in it. And it's a goal planner. It's going to take you through kind of the process that I go through as a goal planner, as a goal setter, and as a goal finisher, and how we can do that throughout the year and beyond January, beyond the new year and the New Year's resolutions, and get it in our minds that we can go for our goals whenever we want. We can stop on a Tuesday because we're kind of feeling burnt out, and maybe the next Wednesday say, hey, I feel like doing it, instead of saying, no, I stopped that. I'm not going to do it. It just didn't work. There's always another chance to go for it. And I'm just going to take you through that journey, and we're going to kind of set ourselves up, yes, for some New Year's goals, because that's the excitement part of it. But we're also going to learn some skills to keep at it throughout the year. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit this week. And then also just maybe do some vision boarding in a simple way. So I think that's all I wanted to talk about today. I hope that I made sense. Sometimes I ramble quite a bit and I start with this topic and then I end up way over here at this topic. So I think that's okay. I think that there's all these gurus coming out here. This is the last thing I'm gonna say. There's all these gurus coming out here with tips and methods, and you have to do it this way, otherwise it's not going to work. And I think that's helpful to a point. I really do. I think that that's helpful to get us on track, to help us learn, and maybe add to our bucket of tools, not take away from them. So sometimes we can say, oh, I've been doing it that way and I've been doing it wrong, and you feel bad about yourself, and then you don't continue on. And that, I don't know that those people are really trying to get you to feel bad, but sometimes it's just how it works. You're like, I'm not doing it that way, that's why I'm not successful. And no, I think that maybe if we feel like we're not successful, we haven't given it enough chance, and that we just need to keep going, and that we need to allow ourselves the flexibility to change the way that we're doing things. So this isn't what I planned to talk about, but here we are. And I'm gonna be out here live tomorrow again at 2 o'clock. No, not 2 o'clock, because I have something else going on. I'm not sure what time yet, so check my posts. Hopefully I'll be able to post. It might be a little later on. And then I'm gonna be out here on Christmas Eve because I have a little message of peace that I want to share with you. And here we are. We're at the end of December. We're at the exciting time of the new year, and we're gonna plan some goals together, and we're gonna talk about them throughout the year to keep everybody on track and to stick with it, So as for now, I will see you in the next video. So thanks to everybody who is watching live and who has tuned in later. Leave me a comment about where you're at with your goals and what you're looking forward to in the next year. All right, bye.